Good morning, good evening, good day, and welcome to Combat Corner. My name is Jackson.
My name is Toby.
That's not true.
That's not my name. My name is Kobe.
Why'd you lie about that?
I don't know. Just felt like it.
That seems like we've told the people the truth this whole time, and you come out and say Toby.
Yeah. Well, what are they going to do?
That's an odd thing to do.
If anyone notices the little slip up I made there,
that's an odd thing to do.
I'll buy you a candy from the shop.
A candy. Anyway, now that we've put that to bed, welcome to Combat Corner, like I just said, and our breakdown of UFC 300.
This could quite possibly be the best episode of Combat Corner ever. And I'm just putting that out there, and I don't say that lightly. So there's a lot of content we need to go over here.
Are you saying that because I, for once, have said that I did some research?
Jackson did some research on one person in the card. Right, he likes Cody Brundage, apparently.
No, I just didn't know fuck all about him. So I was like, I'll have a look at that. We are doing our second flavor of Prime that the episode has seen. This being orange flavor.
I've got a funny anecdote about these as well that I'll bring up later.
Anecdote?
Yeah. What?
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you later.
He'll tell you later.
I will tell you later. We got prime orange.
He'll tell me later too, because I don't know what he's
You don't know what I'm talking about. So let's, without further ado, I think we should kick it off.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Combat Corner.
Crack it open. This sports drink.
Wait, are we supposed to shake it?
I don't know. Does it say that?
I don't know.
It's not suitable for children under 15 years of age.
Does yours have a Best By date on it, by the way?
Children
Just
under
wanna
15 years of age, pregnant or lactating woman.
It's nice that they put the Best By date
Are
on
you
my
lactating at the moment?
one. I am. So I'll just have a sip.
Yeah.
Look at the Best By date.
That's great.
Check this out,
That's
guys.
fantastic.
You read that? That's the Best By date on
I can
this.
read mine.
What does it say?
Mine's the 20th of the 5th, 2024.
So that's
It's not too far away.
about a month.
Did you say you bought these for $1? God
I bought
damn.
4 primes yesterday, $1 each. I'll tell you my little story around that. So I went to a supermarket that I don't often really go to because it's a bit of a shithole. The Countdown down my road. Went there because they've got this water that I need for my sauna. So it's the only place that has the water. I went there, got my shopping. It was all good, this and that, you know.
Yes.
I was like, you know what, I'll have a wee look for a drink because I'm in the supermarket because we always need to get a fucking drink for the show. And I found these and they were $1 each. And so there was these and there was the like candy pop one, the ice pop or some shit.
Yeah.
So I got 2 of each, one for today and one for me and Jackson yesterday. And bagged up all my stuff. First of all, it was kind of annoying because I got some apples and they were on sale. They were supposed to be $3 a kg. So, and I couldn't find it when I put it through the self-scanner. I looked up Eve apples, as you do. And the lady comes over and she's like, oh no, they're Simply Red apples. Puts it in and just walks off. And I'm like, no, that's $5 a kg. So,
Oh my goodness.
but it was so busy and it took her like a minute or two to get over there in the first place anyways. So I just fucking did it. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to wait around any longer. I want to get home. Walking out the store with those paper bags, you know, ready to go home, chilling. And as I was walking out the door, both of my bags rip open. All of my shit goes everywhere. I had barely anything in these bags as well. Literally nothing in these bags. I had a couple of cans, a bottle of milk, these, and a bit of cling film. That was it. So there wasn't much. They shouldn't have been ripping, basically, is what I'm saying. Anyway, one of my primes rolls directly onto the road in the car park in front of me and just gets ran over instantly, which was a big pain. I wasn't that mad because they were $1 each. So I was like, that's okay. If I'd spent like $10 on the fucking cunt, I would have been annoyed. But it's okay. And I was everyone around me was like watching me. Fucking no one helped me apart from this nice couple. And they were like, it's all right, mate. Good recovery. But this homeless person, yeah, he
They
said
definitely
good recovery.
felt pity for you.
They did. But it's all right. At the end of the day, I only lost 1 prime. And then I got home and I fucking sliced my fingers open
Okay,
on the cling film.
Right.
It was a bad day, and my battery was dead.
Yeah.
And I whacked my elbow on the,
Oh,
on
no.
the corner in the kitchen.
All right. So we will be starting a GoFundMe page for the 3 terrible things that happened to Kobe yesterday.
It was like more like 4.
And to fund the
5.
therapy he will need to emotionally recover from these incidents.
Keep an eye out on our Instagram. That will be coming up shortly. Kobe's bad day.
Recovery fund.
/ GoFundMe. GoFundMe / Kobe's bad day / recovery.
Anyway, now that you've got that out of the way.
Yeah, honestly, pissed me off.
Cool.
UFC 300.
How do you know? What are your first thoughts on this drink?
It's all right.
It's all right.
But similar to the other ones, a bit too much.
It's like cordial, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like cordial with way too much.
And the fact that they are that cheap at the supermarket
Means no one's buying them.
means no one's buying them, and it means that for some reason this product just hasn't taken off in New Zealand.
It's because it's marketed to autistic American kids,
Mm.
basically. And I'm sure it's still got a place. People will buy it. You know, it's kind of like the Mr. Beast chocolate. It's like, yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, Mr. Beast. Yeah, Logan Paul, KSI. But then you grow up, you know? Grow out of it.
You grow up and then you start complaining on the only public platform you have about a very mediocre problem that happened to you the day before.
It was, honestly, if you had that problem, you would have gone on about it way more than I did.
Yeah, but it would have been
Sure.
funny.
It was funny. Hey, you tell me. Leave a comment. Was it funny?
Right.
Why don't you tell your little story about
I don't have a
fucking
story.
Graham.
No.
All right. I won't throw you in the dirt.
Right.
Anyway, guys, we should probably get into it. We should probably start talking about the biggest card.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been 7 minutes of you complaining about your life.
All right, mate. You asked.
I didn't actually.
He did. He did ask. He did.
Right.
Take it back. Roll it back, guys. I'm asking for a lot of help from the audience here. UFC 300. Let's dig into it. We're starting at the top. Cody Brundage versus Bo Nickel.
That's not the top.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking.
That's not funny. Again,
Hey,
you
come
failed
on, man.
twice now.
That was people were going to be absolutely chuckling about this stuff.
Really?
Everyone loves my humor.
I don't think we should start at the top this time. I think we should start from the bottom. And
All right.
I think we should start with the early prelims and work our way through this whole card. Because for once, we have some interesting stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
This is the first time since UFC 299.
yeah, there hasn't been a really good card in between, and there's not really been any news either,
No.
like drama or anything. It's been
Apart
tough.
from Roadhouse, that's
Roadhead,
been it.
Yep. Yeah, honestly, man, like this is the first card out in a long time that really, shows out. I'll share my screen. How about that, eh? And we will. I think that's a really good idea from you there, Jackson. First one you've had in a while.
Excuse me?
Starting at the very bottom of the card.
This makes no sense.
What doesn't?
The fact that Figgy versus Cody Garbrandt is the first fight of the night.
No, doesn't really make much sense. Should we talk about the structure of the card first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that this is not structured like any other card we've seen. I think this is structured to be entertaining from the first fight until the last.
Oh,
and the ones
absolutely.
that they have in between that they know aren't going to be as exciting are that they are put in between these. Like, because this here is gearing up to be a banger. We've got Figgy, who has shown that he can bang with the best at bantamweight. He's gone in there and did some pretty decent work against Rob Font in his last outing. Cody Garbrandt, who's coming off, I believe, a couple of wins and is looking to maybe revitalize himself as a threat to the bantamweight.
This is his first real test.
Yeah.
As a coming back fighter.
Yeah.
And his second comeback that he's now in.
So this fight to tee off the day that will be April 14th, which is 3 days away from
Tomorrow,
now.
don't you mean? Oh, yeah, because it's Thursday, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
You do know what you're talking about. Sorry, I forgot.
It is 3 days away from right now.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, usually they make it top heavy and they have like maybe 1 or 2 good early prelims It's semi-decent early prelim to headline.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the card is usually scattered through with, good fights, but maybe not the biggest fights.
Yeah.
And it goes pretty steadily from top to bottom, worst to best.
Yeah.
That is usually what happens. Usually, sometimes you might see a really good pay-per-view opener.
Yep.
Or a really good headliner of the prelims for a numbered card. But it's never as throughout like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I 100% agree. Instead of putting it top to bottom, they've chucked the average fights just in there
Yeah.
at random little points throughout, which is odd. I kind of get it though. They want to say it's a good marketing point. The first prelim is 2 former title challengers. It's like, oh wow,
2 former
okay.
title holders.
2 former title holders. It's like, okay, wow, what's the rest of the card like?
You could
Taylor
flip,
Harris and Holly Holm.
Yeah, you could flip this early prelims on its head.
Yeah.
Have Figgy and Garbrandt as the main event of the early prelims,
And it would still make sense.
and it would make more sense
It would, yeah.
because Jalen Turner versus Moicano, both of those guys haven't really stirred up.
They've never been title
No,
holders.
they've never been title
challenged for the
challengers.
title. They're just about contenders,
Mhm.
But Andrade Rodriguez, she's obviously a title holder. Miller versus Green, there's a lot riding on that one. That's a fun one.
Yeah, 2 really experienced guys in Green and Miller.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's odd, but I understand what they've done, and it's going to be a fun day. The whole day is going to be very fun,
oh yeah.
Next week, no, on Saturday this week, Sunday for us. Sorry.
What are your
So-
predictions for Figgy versus Garbrandt? What do you
So-
think is going to happen in this fight? Who do you think the victor will be? What are
It's a
some
tough one.
things to note from your perspective, Mr. Kobe?
It is a
Whoa.
tough one. Oh shit, wrong one. Thank God I didn't just down that.
Crazy.
It is a tough one. Look, Cody, he got the knockout in his last performance. He did against Brian Kelleher, but Brian Kelleher is not the cream of the crop. He's an old, aged fighter, and he was having a lot of success before Cody got that knockout.
And Figgy has the cream.
Figgy has the cream, and he's in his prime, and he looked fucking good in that last performance that he had against Rob Font.
He pieced him up.
He pieced him up. Like, it was close, but by no means did Rob Font win a round of that fight, in my opinion.
No.
The thing is, both of these guys are getting on in age. Sorry, guys, just pulling it back up. Both of these guys are getting on in age, so, that often makes it... Well, Cody's only 32. That's mad.
It is mad.
But, they are getting on in age. They've been around a while. Cody's chin is suspect. Like, we all know it.
It's pretty sus.
It's pretty sus. It is. Look at it.
And
It's
I think
ready
the
for
cardio will be a big part of this.
the cardio, you think?
Yeah, because I'm not sure if he did piece up Rob Font in his last fight, Figgy, but he didn't show any real threat of a knockout at any point in that fight. I mean, he was hitting him with some pretty clean shots, but it didn't look like Rob went.
He rocked him.
He
a
rocked
couple
him,
times.
but
Pretty bad.
he didn't finish him.
Didn't finish him.
He didn't get close to finishing him. He didn't have him in a really threatening position where it could have been,
It wasn't super close.
No.
Yeah.
But so I think there is a decent chance that this goes on for
The
a little
distance,
while.
you think?
Maybe not the distance.
You think there's going to be a finish?
I'd like to think so.
I think this is really hard to predict. I mean, your head would just say, right, Figgy round 1 knockout. In my opinion, that's what logic would go with, because again, Cody didn't look that good against Kelleher. He does have the knockout power. He gets clipped. He does, and Figgy has power. First round finish.
Does
for
it carry
Figgy.
to bantamweight though? That's what we're yet to see.
I think it definitely does. Rob Font has a crazy chin. The guy survived Sandhagen, Vera. I think he's fought Song Yadong. Maybe he doesn't
that's a good
get
point.
finished. That guy, and he's very good on the feet. And so I think we're going to see a round 1 knockout for Figueiredo. I'd love to see this comeback for Cody, and I would love to be wrong here. I'd love to see him get the round 1 finish or a decision victory. I just don't see it happening. And I think the longer the fight goes, the worse it is for Cody. I think he's got to finish it early. I just think Figgy will start chewing up his legs. He might mix in some jiu-jitsu. He could probably get a submission. Cody's got decent wrestling, but
yeah, Figgy does have the more complete skill set. I agree.
yeah.
And if he can utilize all of those things and put together a little bit of a masterclass, then I think Cody is just going to be outskilled in all areas.
I think the game kind of moved on from Cody super fast, but saying that Figgy is 36, and in these lower weight classes, we do often see the aged fighters, 35 and up, that we often see them diminish pretty quickly. But he's very athletic. He doesn't seem to look like I haven't noticed him slow down.
No.
He's just a wild guy. So I think he's going to get it done. I think he's going to get it done probably in the first or second round. I don't think Cody's chin will hold up.
I think late round 2, we're going to see Cody get dropped and finished.
Yep. And then I think he might retire.
I think he probably should.
Yeah. That's him done
if
at
he
the
can't
top.
beat Figgy, who is, coming up from bantamweight. This is from flyweight. This is the fight that Cody called for. We should add as well because
Oh, he's got the balls.
Yeah. So it's
definitely got
a big shot for him to call. If he can follow through on it, then I think we can see him fighting the likes of a Cheeto Vera next, or
a top kind of guy.
Sandhagen if he can't land a title
that'd
shot.
be good.
There are some options for him in the upper echelons of this division.
Absolutely.
But moving on.
So we've both made our predictions there. I think we're both pretty in the same mind about what's going to happen there. Next up, we have a Battle of the Ancient Men. Bobbeth the Green is fighting Miller Jimilla. Both of them. Look at the losses on these guys alone. 17 losses to 15 losses.
Yep.
31 wins to 37 wins.
It's incredible.
That's insane. The amount of fights these guys have had together, it's a surprise they haven't fought each other already, honestly.
I think they were booked to fight each other at one point in time.
Right, it never happened.
Yeah.
Now, this one's going to be an interesting one. Both guys have got power. We've seen them finish people off Shit, I said that again, didn't I? We've seen them finish people with powerful shots in their last 3 or 4 fights. They've both got finishes within those. Jim has been more active, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah, recently. For sure. Bobby's last fight, what, Jalen Turner?
Jalen Turner, before that it was
He's been
Tony
more active
Ferguson.
in winning, I guess. That's kind of what I mean.
Okay.
January, and then he had 1 fight. It's 20. Maybe I'm wrong, but you got to win. So that's 4 wins on the trot.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's look at Sherdock. It's a bit easier, I find, to do. 2 wins on the trot. Then I lost to Alex Hernandez, who fought last weekend. Good on that guy for getting that result. And then 3 victories before that. So, out of his last 6 fights, he's won 5. And then we go to Bobby Green. He won his previous 2 before his last fight. Impressive win over Grant Dawson for sure.
Can I just say that he is fighting a lot higher up the order though? His losses his last 3 losses coming to Jalen Turner, Drew Dober, and the current lightweight champion Islam Makhachev.
And he got absolutely smushed in that fight as well.
Oh yeah, but I'm pretty sure he was coming in. Wasn't he coming in on late notice?
But he got Islammed. I mean, everyone's going to get Islammed by that guy. Yeah, I mean, Donald Cerrone, notable name. Gabriel Benitez, just on the edge of the top 15. You're right. Bobby Green is fighting higher talent. But saying that, I feel like Jim, I don't know. It's a tough one. We're gonna have to wait and see. Obviously,
Jimbo showed in his last fight that he's willing to mix it up and he's willing to get a taste of blood in his mouth to get the victory. He definitely traded in that last fight to get the win.
Yeah,
and
he outstruck him, and then he managed to also get a submission. And his wrestling was very impressive. And
saying that, wasn't Bobby Green's last win against Tony Ferguson, who he submitted?
Grant Dawson.
Oh, Grant Dawson.
So he beat an ancient Tony Ferguson, and then he beat a surging Grant Dawson, who no one really expected him to beat. And he beat him in the first round, 33 seconds in. Grant Dawson was supposed to be this new up-and-coming guy in the lightweight division, and Just got handled easy.
Hasn't fought since.
Hasn't fought since. He's been really sad.
And then coming off that win, going in there against Jalen Turner and having one of the worst stoppages of 2023, getting absolutely.
That's one thing we
dealt
need to talk about. That was not that long ago. On the grand scheme of things, that was December, and he got finished bad, and he took a lot of strikes after getting knocked out.
Yeah,
what's that going to do to his chin? We've seen in the past people getting knocked out often because Bobby seemed to have a pretty decent chin before that. So who knows? Maybe he might have lost the chin. That's a question that we're going to have to find out.
I don't think so. Bobby Green has taken some pretty brutal knockouts. That knockout that he took against Drew Dober was pretty rough.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as bad as that.
He got knocked out pretty viciously by Dustin Poirier years ago.
But to the level of knockout with that Jalen Turner knockout. And he has always been kind of chinny, you're right. But is the chin going to be even worse now? I don't know. It's just a question that we're going to have answered because Jim Miller's got power.
This is one of the fights that I'm looking forward to most on this card.
And it's second.
Yeah.
Jackson's a big fanboy of Bobby Green.
I'm a big fan of both of these guys.
Yeah, same actually. I like them both.
So yeah, I think this is going to go the distance.
Do you reckon?
I do.
I think we're going to see Jim get a finish.
Really?
I don't know how.
I think if Jim's going to get a finish, it would have to be on the ground. I think Bobby's boxing is pretty slick, and I think he's a pretty hard guy to catch, especially if you are of similar height and reach to him, which they are pretty much exactly the same in those aspects.
Yeah, and he's not the most KO kind of. Yeah, I'll say submission round 2.
And look, his striking did look good in that last matchup, but it wasn't quick. It was well educated and well timed, but it wasn't quick striking. It's not something that's going to catch someone like Bobby on the back foot, and especially if he can manage the distance, which we did see him struggle with against Jalen Turner. But Jalen Turner is a monster of a lightweight,
very big guy.
I think this will go into the third round.
And you think Bobbeth is going to win?
I think so. I think he's been fighting the higher ranked people, and I think that's for a reason. I think he has. Will he fight for another 3 years and make it to 40 like Jim Miller has? I don't know. But I think at the moment he is fighting the more challenging opponents, and that is why he does have a few losses more than Jim as of late.
Fair play.
But yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
See what happens on the night. I'm going to call Jim Miller round 2 submission. Moving on. Jalen Turner versus Renato Moicano. Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. Look, this is a toss-up. Either one of them could win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pick Andrade because I know her better.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. This is a fight that I didn't research because it doesn't really interest me all that much. I'm sorry, I'm being honest.
Let's be real, women's MMA isn't that good. We've had 2 women's MMA main events recently. Both went to decision. Both of them showed how average the skills of women's MMA is.
It's going through a real slump at the moment.
It really is. We had our fun. Dana, get rid of it.
No, there's still some real excitement that can come out of it, but it's just...
Shit. They're just not very good.
Right now, there's something wrong.
Yeah, I just don't think that they're as good. I just don't think they're that good. Like, watching Blanchfield, who's number 2 in the world, against Ferrio, who's number 3. Ferrio just jabbed. Blanchfield could do nothing. She didn't even shoot a double leg from out in the open. She was just trying to push it like to get up against the cage, and it was like, what do you think's going to happen? It was pathetic, actually. I was sick of it. But that's another story for another day. I think Jessica Andrade's going to get it done. How's she only 32? She's been around for so long.
52.5 kilos.
Man, that's tiny.
That is half me.
You could probably beat these guys up, to be fair.
I wouldn't rate myself, to be honest.
If you had a full camp.
If I had a full camp.
Yeah. Jessica Andrade has been there, done that. 32 years old, younger, more powerful, stronger. Yeah. She's going to get it done. Round 1 knockout.
I think so. I think you're right. I don't know about round 1 knockout, but that's only because
Decision.
it's straw weight.
Yeah,
round
you're
one
right.
decision.
It's a woman. Jalen Turner versus Renato Moicano. This is a really good one, and I've got a lot of chips in this one because I like them both. I really like both these guys. I think Moicano is very funny. He's got the character. He's I don't know whether he's really in the game as much as he used to be. He's
got a lot of
stuff
chips in
going
other
on.
areas.
Yeah, he's got the YouTube channel. He's got a podcast that just started. I think he's thinking, right, I'm going to retire at some point. What am I going to get done after I'm done fighting? How am I going to make a living? Said he wants to be a cop.
It's still early days, but I could potentially see him doing something with the UFC in terms of media. Maybe not commentating, but some form of
Being like a big Brazilian thing.
Yeah. Because Brazilian MMA has always been a force, but especially in the last few years,
They've got stars.
the amount of star power on the UFC's roster that all hail from Brazil.
Oh, absolutely. You got Charles Oliveira is huge.
They're
in
there at
Brazil.
least once a year
Huge.
at the moment as well.
Where?
Brazil.
Brazil. Yeah. 301, for example. Is
Charles Oliveira's huge, but look at Alex Pereira.
Yeah. Well, I've heard like Charles is like from what I hear, like Charles is a mega star in Brazil. Like Pereira is too, but Charles is like next level fucking popularity in Brazil. It's some crazy.
Let's save that because we might have a little bit to say about him later in this episode.
Yeah, true.
But Jalen Turner and Moicano. Jalen coming off that win against Bobby Green, which we just spoke about. Moicano coming off a win against
Violent knockout.
Drew Dober.
He controlled him on the ground.
Yes, he did control him on the ground. Was it an exciting fight?
No. It was all right. Like, I mean, the exchanges on the feet were fun. The ground control wasn't very active from Moicano. Just felt like he wanted to just keep him there.
Yeah.
And he did well at that, but, not really a threat for submissions.
No.
I think this is a tale of... It's probably going to be a relatively similar fight to that last one. Jalen's going to want to keep it standing.
Oh, yeah.
Want to keep it on the feet. Use his range to keep the distance. Moicano's going to try and push him up against the fence, get a takedown, control the fight.
I'm a firm believer that Jalen Turner has a lot to offer to this division.
Fuck yeah.
And
huge.
I think he had a very tough fought fight against Dan Hooker, which could have gone either way.
Yeah, really could have.
He had a very tough fought fight against Gamrot, which again probably should have gone his way, as we've spoke about before.
Yeah, that was a very standard Gamrot fight, boring, just holding him.
And I think he's going to go in there and he's going to take advantage of the stage that he's been given. He's headlining the early prelims at UFC 300, the biggest MMA event of this decade.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to make mincemeat out of Moicano. Not that I want to see that happen, because I'm
That's what you think.
I just
what your
think,
brain's taking you.
Yeah. And I think that he is going to propel himself into a fight in the top 10 of the lightweight division and maybe a few fights away from being a title contender.
I probably agree with you, to be honest. Like, how he dealt with Bobby Green, his striking is pretty next level, especially compared to Moicano. He's got the reach. He's been wrestling. I've seen clips of him wrestling with Hamzat and training with Hamzat. So if you can learn takedown defense, the ability to separate from the guy when he's trying to take you down against the fence, this guy can be an absolute problem at lightweight for sure. Like,
there's clips of him sparring with Sean Strickland.
Yeah, and doing well.
And
like,
being a lightweight,
yeah,
and getting in there with Sean Strickland, who is unpredictable in the cage, let alone in sparring. Like, he's
exactly, and having success against him.
Yeah,
it's
incredible.
It's very, very impressive. And I agree. Hate to say it, Moicano, I think, is going to get finished in the first round. I think we're going to see a similar performance to the Bobby Green one.
I think he's going to get frustrated when he can't get him to the ground, and then I think Jalen is going to, because this is going to be a matter of managing distance. Being that big and tall at lightweight, and having a guy that is literally just going to be shooting for your legs, because let's be honest, Jalen Turner is the superior kickboxer by a long shot in this matchup. I think he's going to make easy work of it. Just needs to keep at range, use his teeps, use the jab. And I can see a brutal knockout coming out of this.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as shocking as the Bobby Green one. I hope the ref actually stops it on time this time with fucking
Well,
Jalen
that
Turner.
was only shocking because it didn't get stopped. Like it wasn't a showstopper of a knockout up until the ref didn't jump in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was. He clipped him and he knocked him out cold,
Yeah.
basically. And
And that's I'm not saying it's not a commendable knockout, but it's not
Brad
like
Riddell. Oh yeah, he did that performance against Brad Riddell was very, very impressive. But Brad was kind of out of the game at that point. He didn't really seem too keen. And since 2022, he really hasn't been all that active as well.
no, that is because of the absolute brutalizing he took from RDA, in my opinion.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Like that would
Yeah, he also submitted.
give you a
I
real
remember
shock to
that.
the system in terms of moving up the order.
He's definitely been much more active, fighting 3 times in 2023. Obviously losing twice, but as we talked about, they were very close. Yeah, let's move on, eh? Let's hit the prelims. So we do have there's 4 prelims. I thought there was more for some reason. Starting off at the bottom, we have Diego Lopez versus Sadiq Youssef. Big step up in competition for Diego Lopez.
Big time.
This is going to be a big test for him, for sure. First time jumping into the top 15.
Another Brazilian star.
Another Brazilian who people love.
He is being added to the UFC game
whoops.
as of this weekend.
There you go, man.
Nice. Which is exciting news for any UFC fighter.
Yeah,
He liked our friend's Instagram story the other day,
he did, yeah.
which is very exciting
was
news
impressive.
for Dylan. Congratulations, Dylan.
Congrats, D-Boyle. D-Ball.
Dihar.
So, last fight against Edson Barboza, he got kind of outclassed. This was in 2023.
This is Yusuf you're talking about.
Yes, correct. Definitely has been fighting the tougher opponents
Big
for
time.
quite a while now.
With names like Andre Philly, Arnold Allen, Alex Caceres.
Yeah, and look, decisions against Barboza and Allen. It's not like he was getting finished. He stayed in there with those guys.
Yeah.
So he showed his mettle. Good striker. He's got 6 KOs, 1 submission, 6 decisions. His only 3 losses.
Can he
was 1
deal
KO, but
with the submission threat that Diego Lopez poses, though?
he's never been submitted before.
He has.
No, he's never been submitted.
Oh,
2 decisions, 1
my
knockout.
bad.
Good wrestler. Probably he has some pretty good takedown defense. Very strong for featherweight. I think we're going to see Diego Lopez struggle more here, to be honest.
Isn't he coming off a loss as well?
Lopez?
Am I wrong about that?
No, I think he's on a
Didn't lose too
3-fight
long
win
ago.
streak. 2-fight, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Pat Sabatini finished him very early. Pat Sabatini's not quite the level of the Edson Barbozas, this and that.
God, he was active last year.
He was very active.
May, August, November. Those are quick turnarounds.
3 fights.
So, yeah, taking some decent time since that, well, in the scheme of things for his career up until now, since his last win in November, maybe we've seen him sharpen up the tools a little bit
Maybe.
in preparation for this. I mean,
What's
I'd
your
love to see him
prediction?
go. I'd love to see him get it done, sorry.
I'd love to see him go out the UFC.
But
Fuck
yeah,
this
like
guy.
you say, Yusuf is a big step up in competition. He's been fighting the tougher opponents. He's not as experienced in terms of total fights, but it looks like he has kind of more so handpicked his way into this position. This is going to be a real tough fight.
It is. I think we're going to see a decision come out of this one.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a 2-1 decision. I'm kind of not sure who.
my
gonna get
head
this
is
done.
saying Yusuf, but I really want Lopez to get it done. And it's not until, which is with any of these fights, it's not until those opening moments that you're like, you can really
You
get a
get a feel.
gauge on what someone's been working on.
I think Yusuf will definitely have the advantage on the feet for sure. It's just, can Diego Lopez get him down and utilize that jiu-jitsu
He's
and
got to
that
be
ground and pound?
relentless with his takedowns.
And he is, but and then when we've seen him win, it's always been early.
Yeah.
So, it's been early and he's got a submission and a knockout. Can he keep that going for 3 rounds if Yusuf can survive, right? That's a real question that we need to answer. So, I think we're going to see a decision, and I think Yusuf is going to get it 2-1. I think Lopez will come out strong in the first round. I think we might see him slow down in the second and the third against a big, strong guy trying to take him down. Going to be an interesting one, though. Moving on. Moving up the card, we have Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison.
In my opinion, this is going to be nothing other than an annihilation. The only thing that can save Holly Holm at this point is Kayla Harrison missing weight.
You reckon? Oh, yeah.
In my opinion.
She does usually fight at the weight class above.
I thought it was 2 weight classes above.
Is it? We can find out.
No, that would be lightweight, which doesn't make sense. She does normally fight at bantamweight, yeah.
Class lightweight.
Well, there you go, I'm right.
What is lightweight? 151 pounds, it says. Yeah, so she usually fights at 155.
A women's lightweight division.
Not in the UFC.
No, but was it PFL?
Well, let's have a look at her last victory against Aspen Ladd. She's also lightweight, so...
Goodness me.
So she's been fighting at 155. Oh, it says 150 here, so maybe it's 150 women's lightweight. But she's been fighting at... Oh, it's because they do the no weight cut thing in the PFL as well, so I think...
Right.
It's probably relatively similar to 145.
Look, she's struggled to make 145 in the past.
Yeah. Can she make 135?
This would have been a project for the last 12 months, possibly 18 months.
She hasn't fought in a while.
When was her last fight?
So she fought Aspen Ladd. Holly Holm is 42.
Mm-hmm.
She's coming up 50 in 8 years.
She's only fought 23 times.
Man.
How crazy is that?
Nuts. 2023 November. That wasn't that long ago at all.
What are we talking about?
We don't. It's another one of those things that we have no fucking clue what we're on about.
Just stab in the dark, isn't it? Oh, before that she had
a year off.
She
lost. This is the thing with women's MMA.
God damn.
I won't get into it.
So November she was fighting at 150 pounds.
Catch weight of 150, yeah. So she's got to weigh in.
Why was it a catch weight? Did she miss weight?
Wants to have fun or something. It's probably just a catch weight, just in general. It's not for a belt, and it makes it easier for them.
Right.
But yeah, I fully agree. Holly Holm, she's fucking old, man. She's 42 years old. That's crazy for a female fighter. Her last few fights, she basically lost. No, she did lose to Bruno Silva. It got overturned because Bruno Silva tested positive. And then she went on to fight.
Yeah.
What a joke.
Just how dead this division is.
Yeah, I know. It's stupid.
Kayla Harrison is the only thing that can really spice up some excitement.
But she's boring as fuck. Have you watched her fight before?
She's a judo specialist, isn't she? So she's just
like Ronda Rousey without the finishing ability.
Mm-mm.
She doesn't finish people off as much.
And wasn't one of Holly Holm's last fights just her pushing someone up against the cage for 3 rounds?
Irene Aldana, Raquel Pennington, who is the champ. All these 3 wins are just her pushing up her opponent against the cage.
She's supposed
clinching.
to be primarily a kickboxer. She was like
she's evolved into this whatever she is now. She barely fights anymore. She's an old preacher's fucking bitch. Sick of it. But Kayla Harrison, look, as long as she makes weight, she's going to go in there. She's going to take her down. It's going to be shit. We're going to hate the fight. It's going to be way worse than all of the other fights on the prelims.
It's going to be right around lunchtime, though.
I'm going to need a poo around then.
I'm going to be cooking some lunch.
I'm probably going to be cooking lunch and then taking a shit. And
then coming back, and
it takes 15 minutes.
Yeah, Holly Holm still hasn't been able to make her way back to her feet.
Exactly. And then look, okay, Holly Holm lost. Moving on.
I'm going to say Holly Holm by not happening in the first place because
you think it's going to miss weight? Okay. I'm going to say I don't give a fuck. Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. I'm now on Sherdog. I wonder if it's got the right...
The right what? It has the right order.
The right order.
It does. I'm telling you. Well, if you go to the right fight card, then you'll probably see that is the fight after Holly Holm and Kayla Harrison.
So moving on, we've got Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling moving up a division. He was obviously the former bantamweight champion. He lost his title to Sean O'Malley. Now, since then, he hasn't fought. He's now moving up. Calvin Kattar, tough entrance to this division. I can kind of see why they've done it. Striker against wrestler. If Aljo can get him down, then he's probably just going to sit on his back and get a submission.
Mm-hmm. But Kattar, there's a blueprint to outstriking Sterling. We saw it. We saw it with Petr Yan, which happened in the first fight up until Aljamain cried his way to his title victory. In the second fight, Aljo pretty much just weight bullied Petr for 5 rounds.
People hate Aljo a lot.
No, I'm not. Just hear me out.
You just said he won his belt by crying, and then he weight bullied.
He did.
You fucking hate it.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong. But then, when he's finally in there against someone who has slightly more reach and is a bit taller than him, he struggled to close the distance.
He did.
And he got knocked the fuck out.
He did. But he did beat Petr Yan twice.
He beat him once.
Beat him twice.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want me to show you? I'll bring it up on Sherdog if you want. 2 greens for him.
Look, you know what I'm getting
I know what you're getting at. And I think we're going to see Aljamain Sterling get the submission, though. I really do. As long as he's hungry. If he's not hungry, he goes in there, he gets finished, he probably retires because he's done all that he needs to do.
What's the height and reach look like between these two? Very similar.
But yeah, very similar reach-wise. Sterling is slightly shorter by about 10 centimeters. He's got really long reach for his height. He's the younger man. Kattar's not fought in quite a while, actually, because he hurt his leg. He fucked his knee up against Arnold Allen. Remember that? Round 2.
No, I don't remember that.
Absolutely blew his knee out. That could weigh into something, maybe. Yep. So yeah, Kattar hasn't fought in a very long time. So he's coming back off a relatively catastrophic, potentially career-ending injury.
Coming off 2 losses.
A year and a half ago, 2 losses. Josh Emmett as well. I thought he won that fight, but whatever. Beat Giga, beat him up, and then it was a Holloway fight. So it's an interesting one. It really is. I think we're going to see Aljamain Sterling get the submission probably. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't think he's been gifted a win in terms of like moving up to an easy opponent. It is a tough opponent, challenge. But it is a good strategical move for Sterling. They are fairly similar, like we said, in height and reach. Sterling is going to be, I think he's going to look revitalized out there. Not having to cut that extra weight to get down to 135
That's a big thing for sure.
It was a massive problem for him towards the end there. And if he had have defended the belt against Sean O'Malley, I don't think he would have stuck around. I think he would have been moving up anyway.
He said that he was gonna, and then he just pussied around a little bit before he actually did it.
Well, and the other thing too is Sean O'Malley was a bit of a money fight. In terms of bantamweight, there's not many of those hanging around.
Not really.
So yeah, in the scheme of things, it was probably a bit of a.
And there was the whole Marab thing as well.
Yeah. Yep. But look, I think this is a good fight for Sterling.
It is.
I think it's very winnable for Sterling.
What's
but I also think
Jackson?
If Calvin doesn't have that problem with his knee looming over him, I think there's some ways to victory for him as well if he goes back and looks at how Sean kind of just backed up and moved away and striked moving backwards. Because Aljo does tend to like blitz his takedowns and that kind of thing, and if you can catch someone coming in like that with that forward momentum, like you were just saying yesterday, you get caught with a bit of forward momentum, then you're going to go down, or you're going to at least get rocked.
It's going to be sore. So yeah, moving on. Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. Who do you think is going to win this one, buddy? I think we're going to see Yuri get a finish.
Yeah?
I think he's coming back with a vengeance. Everyone loves a Yuri fight week.
I
think we're going to... Look, Rakic is good. He's definitely going to want to try and mix in the wrestling, but look, Yuri is fucking great. He was doing well against Alex before he got knocked out and finished.
Slept.
potentially a pretty dodgy stoppage, although he did agree with it. He was doing well.
I think if it didn't happen, then it was only going to happen.
It would have
worse
happened
further
probably
down.
eventually.
Like 10, 15 seconds later.
Maybe,
as soon as Yuri got up, Alex would have smelt blood.
Yeah.
And
Could have done.
flipped him again.
But Rakic is a formidable opponent. I just don't see him really causing all that many problems for Yuri. I
No.
think it's going to be an unorthodox fight. Probably we'll see some moments of Yuri just doing dumb shit.
Yep. But since he has started fighting the likes of the top of the top, the top of the crop, he's shown that he can be a problem for anyone.
Yeah.
Well,
he's only had 4 fights in the UFC, which is crazy. And all of those guys have been top talent.
Yeah. Who?
You know?
Is it only 4?
Yeah. He fought Ozdemir and Reyes. Then he fought for the title. And he beat Glover. And then he fucked his knee. Or his...
I had some
or
weird
something.
thought that he fought Jamahal, but he didn't.
No,
he
no.
fought Glover, didn't he? Yeah.
And then Glover fought Jamal for the bacon belt.
Mm-hmm.
Then they obviously fought for the bacon belt again. And now we're seeing Jamahal back at it again. So I think Yuri's going to get it done. I think it's going to be a decision, but I think Yuri's going to get it done.
Yeah.
He's going to be dominant with the striking, and when
I
he
would
goes to
love
the
to
ground,
see
I'm
that.
pretty
Yeah.
confident in his skills as well.
The case.
What do you think?
Yep. I think I'm even confident enough to say a first round finish for Yuri.
Cool.
I think, like you say, he's going to be back with vengeance. He is really, I think at this point in his career, he's probably watching things go by. I mean, that belt has changed hands so much lately. It's probably worth him putting in a statement win and getting his name back in the win column and really just propelling himself right back up to the top of that division. And he could potentially be next in line for a title shot after this fight.
I think you're right. The winner of this or Ankalaev has to fight for the belt next.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about Ankalaev because he's boring. But moving on.
Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage opening up the main card. This is something that we all are a little bit pissed about, I think. As you know, all the fights that we've just talked about could probably replace this fight on the pay-per-view of this card. Jim Miller, put him on here.
Bo
Jim
Nickel
fucking Miller.
is going to snooze his way to another victory. I think one of his last fights was quite exciting because it was a first-round knockout.
All of his fights in the UFC have been first-round finishes.
Yeah, but I mean the knockout was good. Most of the time, he just hugs them to death.
See, I think I actually like Bo Nickel. I do. I just don't think he should have been rushed into this main card. And fighting Cody Brundage on the main card is pretty pathetic. But I like Bo. I think he's got... I actually think he's pretty exciting. Like, I like his offensive wrestling. He's always going for a finish. 5 first-round finishes. He's never gotten out of the third minute.
Like you say, this has no place on the main card, let alone maybe even UFC 300. Cody Brundage
I think
hasn't fought
Jackson's done his research
on a UFC pay-per-view since UFC 266.
Wow, that's crazy.
Since then, he has been on fight nights, getting a bit of a tossy-turny kind of ride. So yeah, since Volk versus Ortega, which was his not his first, I think it was his first fight in the UFC. He had a Contender Series fight before that.
And he was on the early prelims as well.
Yeah.
So not exactly the main
And
card.
he lost.
So this is Jackson's new favorite fighter.
It is not.
Cody Brundage. He's been
I am
obsessing
not-
over him for about 2 hours
I will not
now.
have that going out there to the people for them to say that. For you to say that, sorry.
It's just a joke.
Because if you say
God.
that, then they'll say that. But yeah, since that fight,
He lost to Cedric Dumbass.
we just saw him last week, didn't
And
we?
he got fucked up. Oh, well, it was kind of like
Island
eye poke.
Boy.
He did that, got eye poke finished. Oh, there's Jorge in the background.
Nice.
Why is Jorge in the background?
Maybe they're at the same gym.
Nah, he fought on
they were
Game Bread.
both training out of prison.
He
I
fought-
don't know.
Fought on Game Bread Fighting Championship 1.
Oh, God.
But they do bare knuckle MMA.
Mm-hmm. Shall we get back to the subject at hand?
Sure. You can hand me off if you want.
Cody Brundage has no place on this fight card unless he is being fed to a young up-and-comer who we all know is going to absolutely demolish him.
Yeah, I saw something somewhere. It was like if Bo Nichols loses, he's got to get on the mic right after the fight and apologize to everyone for taking up a space on the main event. He's got to get on the fucking microphone. Bo Nichols, if you're listening, which you're probably not, if you lose at UFC 300, we want an apology live after the fight. We want it then and there for taking up the space that could have been filled by Vicky Garbrandt, Bobby Green versus Jim Miller, Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling.
I hate that I'm about to say this, but even Holly Holm versus Kaylee Harrison. Look,
Sorry.
Here's the thing. Neither of these guys have commendable records where they've fought anyone of note. Like, one of the only names that I recognized in Cody Brundage's record was an amateur fight against Brian Battle, which, again, he lost.
So he's going to get fucked up.
This is just...
The UFC are built. They're doing a Sean O'Malley with him, right? This is exactly what they did with Sean. Sean was fighting absolute tin cans on the openers of pay-per-view cards since day dot. Mm-hmm. And they built him into the star that he is today, and it did work, to be fair.
No one's watching this card because Bo Nichols on it.
No, but I get, exactly, people originally weren't watching the pay-per-view cards, and the reason is as well, he's a wrestler, right? Mm-hmm. People who buy pay-per-views have money, and people who are into wrestling dads, they're like generational wrestlers, where the kid wrestles, the dad wrestles, they're going to be supporting Bo, and they're going to want to buy the pay-per-view for Bo. So you might reach the wrestling market, the NCAA dad market, which is big, and they have money.
Bo.
Yeah. So, and then there was a good point, right? So fucking people who are fans of Sean O'Malley, people who are fans of Adesanya, usually they're the younger, kind of more autistic people, So
Bo.
They're not going to buy the UFC, the pay-per-view, because they don't have the money, right? I'm trying to make a valid point here, and you're doing some spastic fucking move. All right, so Bo Nichols getting a first-round submission. Bo Nichols getting a first-round submission. Moving on, Charles Oliveira versus Arman Sarukian.
I was talking to someone pretty recently about how big Charles Oliveira is a star in Brazil.
Yeah, you were. It was me. Yeah. It was me.
Yeah, look, I was looking into this fight this morning as well, because we had a bit of a chitty chat last night about this, didn't we? We, for once in a blue moon, we spent some time that wasn't strictly to do with this show together, and it was nice. It was nice. We had a nice little night, didn't we?
Yeah, it was okay.
I enjoyed myself.
I enjoyed myself too.
But here's the thing, right? Arman Sarukian has not seen anything close
and no one's arguing that,
to the career victories that Charles Oliveira has, even the losses that Oliveira has. Look, I think
we see 2 losses in his career recently.
Yeah, but I think he could have won that fight against Gamrot.
Same, that was very close.
I don't know how that was a unanimous decision.
No, it was a very close fight for sure. Very close.
But here's the thing. Look, apart from Gamrot, apart from Dariush, who I think it's proven now is...
He doesn't have a chin.
He doesn't have a chin, and he doesn't have what it takes to be right at the top.
No.
I'm sorry,
No.
but he doesn't. But
I was on a podcast. I was listening to a podcast, and Joe Rogan claimed that Dariush was like 43. He's 34. Because he was like, he's got grey hair. But
look at Arman's record. Okay, who there is like a notable win to
yeah, no, it's not nowhere near the same as the likes of Charlie Olives. My mouse isn't working. There it is. The Benny Dariush fight is the only one that was that's really, really impressive at the top level.
And he had a really impressive showing against Makachev back in 2019.
And Gamrot, the fight was very close too.
Yeah. Look, those are good fights, but they prove that when he gets up against a really notable opponent who is well-rounded, who shows skills in all areas rather than just glowing in one, he struggles.
In the past, at least, for sure. Yeah.
He's still young. He's 27 years old.
He might be coming into his prime.
But I think Charles Oliveira still has...
He's still got gas left in the tank.
He's still got gas left in the tank. I still want to see him rematch Islam.
So do I.
And I think that Charles is going to get this done. And I did just
really
think
hope so.
that... Hey?
I really hope so.
I know you hope so, but I know you don't think it's going to happen. I know you think Armin has too much
youth,
almost too much fire lit underneath him. But
he does.
Charles has been training a lot with Ian Gary lately. A lot of people may think that Ian Gary has been training a lot with Charles, but I think they would have been trading skills on both levels. I think Ian has probably been learning...
You say?
Yes. Ian has probably been learning a lot of the ground techniques that he needs to really polish off his game. But I think Charles Oliveira's kickboxing can only have improved by training with someone like Ian Gary.
And like you say, Ian Gary has definitely learned watching Charles, pass the guard, reverse the position, transition from position to position as he's been watching Charles. So, yeah, Ian's definitely learned a lot on the ground for sure from Charles.
Are you making cuck jokes?
Yes.
Wow, that's very good.
Thanks. But no, I agree. Yeah, the kickboxing wise, Ian wouldn't have been doing the watching there. He would have been, in there in the fight.
Because let's be honest, Sarukian's not going to want to take Charles Oliveira down.
Probably not. No, he's a good wrestler.
He might want to. He is a good wrestler, but he struggled to show that against Gamrot, who's also a good wrestler.
Yeah, they kind of outed each other.
Yeah, and
look, I'm open ears, mate. You tell me.
In my eyes, Sarukian's striking outshined Gamrot's. I'm about to do a little bit of MMA math, right? But Charles Oliveira has a very, very full skill set in the terms of his Muay Thai. He mixes in his elbows and knees really well to manage distance and to get onto the inside and to show a threat on multiple levels.
Yeah.
If he gets dropped, I can see Armin following him to the ground.
Getting an arm triangle.
Yeah, but I honestly think that Charles will grind his way to a victory here. I think this fight is going to get ugly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as easy as Sarukian's had it with the likes of Dariush and these other nobodies that he's finished.
Definitely. The only reason I think that it's going to go to Sarukian is I just think he's improved so much over the last few years and he's learned so much from his losses. Mm-hmm. And he's still so young, so passionate about all this and so strong as well. I just think it's going to be tough for him not to find a finish. Or
you say that he's learned so much from his losses, but Charles Oliveira, in terms of any UFC champion in history,
I think he has had for sure
the most fights on his way to a belt.
MMA is a young man's game. That's what they say, right? Look at Poirier versus Volk.
Look at Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis.
Yeah, Benoit did have staph. No. So if Sarukian has staph infection, I'll definitely predict that Charles.
I'm going to say Charles Oliveira finished by staph infection.
Finished by staph.
I honestly think Charles will get this done, and I don't think it's going to be pretty.
I think we're going to see Sarukian get a submission in the second round. Probably kind of similar. I think we're going to see a similar performance to the Islam victory.
I think we're going to see a Dubronk's knee in the third round. Catch him, drop him.
I hope so
and
too.
I think we're going to see a submission.
I hope so too, but Santa Claus isn't always real. And I don't believe.
You think Jim Miller's going to beat Bobby Green and you're telling me Santa Claus isn't real. Let's move on to the next fight. Let's just leave that. Let's put it to bed. Let's see what's next. What's next, Toby? What's coming next?
Jim Miller's definitely going to beat Bobby Green, but you keep your little favoritism over there. Next up, we have the not the co-main, the third down in the card. We have Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. Very interesting fight. Max looks fucking beefy, brother. He looks bigger.
He does. Yeah. And he's been telling everyone to shut the fuck up about him being too much of a featherweight pussy little bitch to fight at lightweight because that's what people are saying. And they need to calm the fuck down because Max Holloway traded for 5 rounds with one of the most brutal, dirty boxers that the lightweight division has ever seen when Dustin Poirier was in his prime.
Yeah. He did.
And
he looks like he's been gaining more power and knockout ability, one punch knockout, ability, especially in that fight against the Korean Zombie.
yeah,
I'm
he
going with
fucked
Max
him
Holloway
up.
here. I'm going with
Are you
Max
really?
Holloway. Yeah. Decision. Max Holloway.
I think that this
I'm
could
going with my heart.
Yeah, nice. I did that in the look. Anyway, Justin Gaethje has been very dangerous of late.
Yes.
He dropped Charles Oliveira, even though he ended up losing that fight. He dropped him. He dropped Poirier with a brutal head kick.
He did. He looks better than ever.
He does, which is crazy because he's always looked incredibly good. What does he predict an unusual stoppage?
I don't know. I just saw this and I was like, what?
The notoriously tough mix. Go up. I'm trying to read this to the people.
Yeah, I want to read the proper. The fucking,
Excuse me.
I want to read the beef, not the salad.
That's another thing to note is, Max Holloway hasn't been dropped in his 32 fights.
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje is the guy to expose that. Don't you think?
He could be, yeah.
How well?
Sure. He definitely could be. Oh, he's predicting it to finish by doctor stoppage.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Doctor stoppage.
He's the kind of guy that would slice you
actually.
up.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I don't know. I just feel like I've just got a feeling that, it's coming
There's
home.
a lot of scar tissue on Max Holloway's face.
Yeah. So same with Justin.
I'd like to say a lot. Like Max Holloway has taken the most significant strikes in UFC history.
Yeah.
Sure, he's dished out the same,
be
but
a doctor stoppage.
I think we see Max Holloway get dropped for the first time in his career.
Okay. I just have a feeling he's going to outbox him and take it to decision. Maybe even employ some grappling. I don't know.
There is going to be some.
It's pretty hard to predict this one.
There's going to be some crazy moments in this fight. There's going to be some cool little
things,
edits come out of it. Because there is.
Yeah, Ray Rod, he'll have his way with it.
No, there'll be another last 10-second kind of moment that Max Holloway had. There'll be another crazy moment where Justin Gaethje is just chopping the legs off of someone.
Yeah.
And I think Max Holloway might outbox him, but I think Justin Gaethje is just too resilient. He's too durable.
Yeah, he is. That's for sure. He's got a chin on him.
To go into this is a 5-round fight. If it gets into the later rounds, I think he could potentially finish him.
Yeah.
And that's saying something considering Holloway hasn't been finished, but Justin Gaethje looks better than ever. He just head kicked Dustin Poirier into the shadow realm.
You did do that, yeah.
And sure, Max has taken a decent amount of time to come up from lightweight, but I think he is just too old.
No,
I don't think he's going to get weight bullied. I think he's just too old.
Yeah, I think you're right, honestly, but I'm going to pick with my heart just for this one.
Cool.
I think you're right. I think what you said is right. He's probably going to get dropped. Gaethje's just a different breed. But yeah, I'm going with my heart for this one.
Zhang versus Yan.
This is actually a pretty tough one to predict because, look, Xiaonan Yan, crazy name. Xiaonan Yan Fury.
18-3.
She's 34 years of age. 2 losses, though. Don't look good on it.
In recent times as well. Well, not really, actually. She's fought once a year for the last few years. Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough for someone like Weili Zhang, who's a beast.
I think we're going to see Weili get it done. I think it's going to be a finish. I think Xiaonan Yan is probably going to be quite aggressive as well in this fight. I don't know about you.
And it's not gonna play well for her.
No, I don't.
Look,
I think she'll get countered.
Over Andrade and Mackenzie Dern.
Impressive victories for sure, but Andrade just spammed a left hook about 4 times before getting clipped with a counter. It wasn't anything too impressive. It wasn't like a breakdown of Jessica Andrade. It was Andrade that led to her own downfall here.
And a decision over Dern.
Majority decision, that is. So,
yeah, But what I'm saying is
I know majority decision isn't very good
over Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a threat to the belt, you need to be able to finish off my Pookie a bit quicker than 5 rounds. She's not going to have 5 rounds with Zhang.
For sure. So I think we both think that Zhang's going to get a finish.
Yeah, and we don't need to talk any more about it than that.
Main event of the night. The main fight of the night.
The main event of the evening.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Alex Poatan Pereira.
He's blue.
He is blue double die. He is fighting the previous champ who relinquished his belt.
A bit of a meme queen.
Hill. Bit of a meme queen. He's a lot of people are predicting Alex for this fight.
And a lot of people
to go the other way.
Yeah?
A lot of people don't give Jamal a chance.
No, and they keep saying that he's making all these stupid claims, which it's quite funny because I have to agree with him. Can we actually bring up Jamal's Twitter?
It's funny as fuck.
Yeah, he has been pointing out some hypocrisy in the Powhatan people. Okay, they have been talking some smack. They have been discounting his skill set. And it's been quite funny to watch. He's an MMA fan, which I like. Here we go. Alex Pereira. I'm going to beat Jamal so easy / clean. I'll fight another top contender another 3 weeks later. MMA community. He's a beast. I believe he can do it. Dude's special. Fucking love it. Me, I'm better than Alex. MMA community. You're too confident. You're delusional. You're unlikable. He's
so funny, man.
It is funny. And he's right. Like, people aren't giving him the time of day to beat this guy who, quite frankly, doesn't have nearly the amount of experience as Jamal Hill. Jamal's been around the block a couple times by now. Whereas Alex Pereira is, 13 fights into his MMA career?
Not even? Jamal is only 13 fights into his.
Really?
Alex is 11.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Jamal's only lost 1 fight, and that was to Paul Craig. That's fucking mad. He's got some funny tweets.
But he's brutalized some people as well. Do you know what I mean?
Funny ones. Yeah, absolutely.
Like Johnny Walker.
Oh, this one's so fucking funny.
Turned him into a wooden board.
He did, and he went down like a spastic. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word. This guy said, we need you to humble Alex Pereira, champ. And then so he's saying we need you to humble Alex.
Yeah.
And Jamal replies with, humble my nuts, bro. I'm humble to those that humble they self. Point in fact, who are to tell me to be humble? What experience do you have with what I do daily? So he's just completely misread the tweet. And now he's having a go at this guy who's supporting him. And the guy's like, relax, bro. I'm simply saying that we're rooting for you. And then he came back again and said like, oh man, it's so funny. What's this Reddit post going on about? No, it's just...
There's some racism.
Oh, look,
in there.
there's more. Yeah.
That can't be tolerated.
I encourage you to consider not everything as a personal attack or slander, and sometimes just a light meme. I encourage you to stop acting stupid like I give a fuck about your fight opinion and quit acting like motherfuckers. Don't take personal shots every day about my family and everything else. Show me one time I went at somebody for a light meme. Like, right then?
Look, Twitter aside.
You literally just talking, so go drink some bleach. Man, he's funny. I love it.
Twitter aside, I think there's an argument to say that Pereira may have fought the bigger names, but has he fought the tougher opponents?
Well, the thing is, he's definitely not had the same level of experience at light heavyweight fighting light heavyweights. That's for sure. Because Jamal Hill's been at light heavyweight his whole career.
That's what I'm saying.
Jimmy Crute, Johnny Walker, Thiago Santos, Glover Teixeira, Glover's kind of like, he's a smaller light heavyweight. Johnny Walker's a big dude, but like you said, he folded him like a lawn chair. The Paul Craig fight was a bit random. I mean, Paul Craig's an odd fighter.
Yeah. Sometimes Paul Craig could step into the octagon and beat John Jones.
Yeah.
Other times he would struggle against Mackenzie Dern.
Exactly, right?
It's weird.
He's beaten Magomed Ankalaev
Yeah.
by submission, and he's also beaten
You
Jamahal
can't-
Hill.
You can't employ any sort of brain power
There's
to
no logic
predict
that
a
goes
Paul
there.
Craig fight.
So I think that Jamahal has what it takes to really put it on Alex and get a finish. I think we're going to see a finish for sure. I really, really, really doubt that this is going to go the distance. I don't see that happening whatsoever. I don't
that's
think
why
that
it's
they're going to
headlining.
wrestle. Yeah, fuck yeah. And we finally get a little bit of clarity at 205 at this point after this.
Yeah.
A little bit of clarity. There's still a lot to work out. Because like, who does Jamal fight next? If he wins, Alex obviously probably Ankalaev, but if Jamal wins, he might want to fight Yuri, the two former guys.
It depends what happens with Yuri and Rakic, really.
It does.
And the other thing too is we've seen it happen before. We're potentially about to see it at lightweight with Dustin Poirier. But yeah, if Yuri does get a win, he might just leapfrog Ankalaev.
Because he's exciting.
He's exciting. He has a following. He was the champion beforehand.
Yeah.
Ankalaev has cooked some of his opportunities when he gets to the top. But this fight here ultimately will decide whether, like you say, we get some answers at light heavyweight, or if we continue to see the division get shaken up once again.
100%. Yeah, if Hill wins, it's going to really shake.
I
shake
agree
this
with
shit
you.
up.
Hill does have what it takes to put it on Alex Pereira. But every single time in his MMA career so far that he has stepped out there, he has shown another level. That's Alex Pereira I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
He had a very close fight just a couple years ago now with Bruno Silva, who we saw a couple weekends ago, doesn't have what it takes to deal with the likes
The eye pokes.
of a washed up former champion in Chris Weidman.
Because with that fight, yes, it was a controversial finish, but Chris was having a lot of success, and Chris is not good anymore. Basically, that's it.
But since then, Alex Pereira has fought the best of the best at middleweight.
Mm-hmm.
He
Cream of the crop.
knocked the brakes off of Sean Strickland. He finished Izzy in a time when Izzy was on his way to being the best middleweight of all time before his unfortunate recent downfall. Sure, he then got knocked out pretty clean by Israel.
He did, yeah.
But I think it's clear to say that he was cutting a lot of weight at that point in his career, which, as we know,
And he got counted.
Yeah.
He was doing really well.
It sucks the life out of you doing something like that. And so far at light heavyweight, he's beaten
His chin has always held up.
2 former champions.
Yeah. Like I don't necessarily think it was a weight cutting issue. Could have played it into it, but that he was winning the Israel Adesanya fight for sure.
Mm.
And we just saw a really very, very intelligent tactic from Izzy playing rope-a-dope on the fence.
And if
then
that didn't
countering.
work, then it would have been a very similar fight to
I think
the first
so.
time
Yeah,
around.
I think he would. I think Alex was on the road to getting a finish.
Yeah.
honestly,
And
like-
he'd already slipped one of Izzy's legs. We
He
saw
had.
Izzy limping around at the post-fight press conference after that fight.
Exactly.
So look, I think we're going to see another level to his game.
You do.
Yeah.
The one thing that I worry about with Alex is that he's susceptible to overhand rights. You see it in his sparring. You see it in like everything. He gets clipped a lot in sparring, and in fights he gets clipped not as much, but in sparring he gets clipped a lot with counter right overhands.
That's what makes this fight so exciting.
Yeah, that's exactly what Hill is good at. Think about how Hill has finished a few of the guys that he's finished, right? Think about how he finished Johnny Walker, an overhand right.
Mhm.
A vicious overhand right. Thiago Santos, same thing. I think they've all been vicious overhand rights. And Alex is very susceptible to overhand rights. He leaves his chin up in the air. He's not. He fights with his hands down. It's a style that only works for him, because no one else can really do that.
Bobby Green.
And yeah, Bobby Green's more of a hood style. So I think that's how Jamal will win if he does. And I'm honestly leaning towards Jamal. I am. I'm leaning towards him. And I don't want to doubt Alex as well, because like you say, he gets better every fight. I've doubted him before. He's never disappointed me. That doesn't really make any sense.
No,
but
it doesn't. But yeah,
you know what I mean? But I'm going Jamal. I'm going to say round 1 knockout. I'm very tentative on that. Could change my mind for sure. And are you going Alex round 1 knockout?
I'm not going to say round 1 knockout. I think he's going to chew up his legs.
Get it done over the time.
I think
distance.
if he's going to neutralize that right hand of death that Hill possesses, he's going to have to start with the legs. He's going to have to build a platform, and the way to do that is to take away Jamal's footwork, and then he won't be able to launch an attack like he normally can.
Yeah. I think, because like Jamal has a boxing heavy stance. His leg is there to be chewed up. So that could be a huge factor of this fight, in the first round if Alex can pick his leg off.
Alex Pereira possesses, in my opinion, the most savage leg kicks in the UFC today.
Completely unique to other people's way that he
throws them when he's standing straight on. He doesn't twist himself. He doesn't do anything like that. It's like his knee is double jointed or something. It
he also has a very
itself.
Unique way of checking the kicks. The way he checks kicks, they're very.
He brings a different level of class to the leg kicking.
He does.
But I think this is look, apart from the green and actually we've disagreed a few times on this card, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
But I think this one is probably.
We do definitely disagree.
Yeah.
Well, I think we both actually very much agree, but we're both just slightly leaning another side,
Who knocked out Jamal Hill? Oh, Paul Craig.
Yeah, because it was a submission. He broke his arm, and then he hit him a bunch, and then the ref stopped it. It was fucking weird. DKO. That's so strange. Anyway, guys, I think that's it. That's 300. It's coming up. Can't wait. Finally, a decent card after so long.
Yeah,
suffering.
And look at that,
such shit.
We have not struggled for a second for the last hour and 20 minutes.
This is what we need, Dana. Please. And then we're right back into fucking Urseg versus Pantoja in the next pay-per-view
Don't even
card.
bring that up now. Don't even bring that up right now. Because Ursig Siggy Buttbrain.
I actually am quite excited to see that fight.
Yeah. Is doing something that we don't see many people do.
No, I want to see him get that dub.
Prime Orange. I saw you take your last sip of this probably about half an hour ago now.
Yeah. I went through it pretty good. No, I honestly quite liked it. Again, with Prime, too much flavor. It was too strong, too like you say, it tastes like cordial. But on the grand scheme of things, I definitely preferred this over the other three. I think that we've had.
We've only rated
the one, but you know what I mean. Like, this is my favorite Prime that I've tried.
Mm-hmm.
The flavor was good. There was just too much flavor. It's like, bro, just tame it back a little bit. Like Powerade, you don't feel overpowered by the taste. I'm not going to put it that high up on the list, though, being said. I'm thinking around just above aloe vera, the aloe vera drink that we tried.
Okay.
I don't know where your head's at with this.
My head was at putting it just below Orange Cool Change, because Orange Cool Change is an orange cordial drink, and this doesn't stack up to it.
Yeah, taste-wise, might have better micros in it, but okay. I'll put it there. I'll agree with you. Above hemp. How's that hemp drink in like the mid? That was fucking crazy, that drink.
It was a very odd drink.
It was intense.
I think we're going to have to look at reorganizing this board.
Yeah, we'll do that by the next time, so don't be ashamed.
And don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger. Tell us what we should try. We don't hear enough from any of you guys.
Yeah, we see you guys every week. We put these videos out and you don't even comment. There's 7 people on Spotify that listen to each episode.
It's rude.
We don't even know your names. So hit us up. We might send you some free merch at some point.
Look, we've been Combat Corner. This has been our breakdown of UFC 300. Like, comment, subscribe. Maybe follow us on Spotify if that's where you're listening. Follow us on TikTok. Interact with us in some way, shape, or
would
form.
Be great.
We'd love to hear from you.
On all the socials, what is it? Combat Corner 205. At Combat Corner 205. Hit us up, give us a follow. Thanks for watching.
Toodle pip.